What's up YouTube, this is LDS Reliance. Today I'm going to upload a video for you to hopefully learn from. In this video I make some mistakes and end up with a product that isn't exactly usable for its intended purpose. So this is something I'm going to revisit in the future and try to perfect and make better, but I do make some dumb mistakes I'm a little embarrassed about. But I don't think it would be intellectually honest if I didn't show some of the failures along with the success. So without further ado, this is a project trying to build a Peltier test rig. So here are the basic components that I'm going to use to build this Peltier test rig. What I want to be able to do with this device is tell exactly how much voltage and current that I'm providing to the Peltier and to the fans and be able to adjust that as needed. So I grabbed this piece of 1/4 inch plywood that I had in the garage, which will be perfect for this as a board to put all of the devices on. This component here is a DC regulator that will allow me to regulate the voltage that's going to the Peltier. This device is a board that allows me to distribute power from one input to multiple computer fans. This device is a meter that allows me to monitor the voltage and current that are going to the Peltiers from a Bluetooth enabled device. First I need to install standoffs below the two boards so that I can mount them to the piece of plywood. Luckily I've collected all kinds of standoffs and screws from about 18 years of building custom PCs, so I had plenty of parts laying around to do this. Next I need to lay everything out on the plywood and then use a pen to mark the locations where I need to drill holes. It's not a project unless you bleed, that's my motto, and unfortunately I hurt myself while I was trying to pull out some drill bits from a drill bit case. Anyways, life goes on and now I need to drill those holes that I marked. Now that the holes are drilled, I can mount the components to the plywood. As I was designing this out in my mind as I went, I decided to add 3 switches to the mix. One switch will control power to the rig itself, and the other 2 will control power to the Peltiers and to the fans. Now comes the wiring part. I'm going to use orange and gray wire to connect the power from the charge controller to the rig. This is a tedious process, but I wanted to show the whole thing, so let's go ahead and speed it up and play some music. Alright, now that everything's wired up, let's go ahead and label what switch does what. And here's where the first problem comes in. I discovered that the regulator board that I was using was actually a boosting board, which means that I could not decrease the voltage to the load, I could only increase it from the voltage that was coming in from the battery. Since I want to be able to undervolt the Peltier devices, I needed to use a different board, and so that's what this new one is. I decided to leave the old board in place and to just add the new one below it. I thought, why not? Maybe I'll use that for something else in the future. However, I did not stop and think that adjustable current regulators like this cannot handle very much current, so this board is only capable of 2 amps. So unfortunately that won't help when even the smallest Peltier that I might be using is 5 amps. So that was dumb on my part. Anyway, let's go ahead and fire this thing up and make sure that everything works, even though I know I'm not going to be able to fire up the Peltiers. First we need to connect this wire from the battery to the charge controller, which will activate the charge controller as you see here. Then we need to hit the on-off button, which will provide power to the entire rig, which lights up the board as you see there. And then there's an on-off button on the board itself that will provide the output power from the board. Then we can hit the switch for the fans, which activates the distribution board, which provides power to all 6 fans. So you can definitely hear them operating. Everything was working well. and you can see that we were using a little bit over 1 amp of power. So you may have noticed that I haven't gone over this Peltier device that you see at the top of this screen. This is a product that I picked up a couple months ago, and I'm going to go over it in another video, I promise. But first I've got to perfect this setup, and it clearly has some more work to be done. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for next time, and we'll go ahead and fix this rig so it actually works. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you liked it.